You're watching Around Town with Henry Dormann.
Around Town is sponsored by Chemung Canal Trust Company. They're really nice people. Trust is their middle name. Service is their motto. And I like them a lot, and that's why I bank there. If you ever come by to look me up, I'll be in the vault. Safe place. We're in the offices of Senator O'Mara, who is our senator from the state. And I am dying to ask him all kinds of questions. But how do you make an interview with a politician interesting? So I got a great question. Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Really?
Yes.
Second question. Well, we had to get a laugh in someplace.
Yeah.
The people who vote have one question always. What have you done for me lately?
What have I done for you lately?
Yeah, so for all those people who voted for you, what have you done? You've got so many, I know that you have this because I checked up on all the things that you're doing. And in the state Senate, you really are a mover and shaker and somebody who represents this area really very well. I'm sorry I'm biased, but somebody's got to say it.
That's okay. If you're biased that way, that's okay, Henry. I can take it. But what have I done for you lately? Well, you know, just a couple weeks ago, we delivered $10 million to the Village of Watkins Glen for their downtown revitalization initiatives. That will go a long ways in Watkins Glen and helping out. You know, just a year ago, we delivered the same amount of money to Elmira with $10 million for their downtown initiative projects going on to help revitalize these downtowns like most upstate small cities and communities have struggled over the years.
Is there hope now?
Yeah, I think there's hope, and I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic through the regional council processes that we've had in New York State. And I certainly have my differences over the years with Governor Cuomo, but I think that we've done some great things in the southern tier with some of the regional council money that we've been able to get. And you know, just a little bit over a year ago, we won the big prize of $150 million, or no, $500 million. I'm sorry, $500 million, $150 million a year to put money into the southern tier region, which when those projects start coming online, I think we've got a lot of reason for hope and optimism here in the southern tier to see our economy start improving. You know, we've always struggled in the southern tier behind the national economy and the state economy. We've seemed to over the my life history, anyways, always followed into a recessionary period, but we've also followed coming out of it as well. So I think we've been seeing that recently with the recovery nationwide and a slower trend here in the southern tier. So I'm hopeful that some of these economic development dollars are going to get things going. And you know, we just had a great announcement a few weeks ago with the Kraft cheese plant in Campbell, right here in Steuben County. And I've recently learned that that sale transaction has gone through. Upstate Niagara is now the owner of the facility, and that all the jobs that were there at the time of the transaction just a couple weeks ago are still there. There was a concern about there was going to be some cutbacks with this new transition, and they're building their customer base because it's a new line of work for Upstate Niagara and actually making the cheese.
I have one question.
Yeah.
You're talking about all of these things and all of the details. With all the stuff that you have to study and memorize in the big district, how do you keep track of you have a staff that's terrific that gives you all the information? Do you have a photographic mind? How do you know all and keep track of all these things?
I certainly have a staff that's terrific. I don't think I have a photographic mind, but I do keep most of it in memory and try to, you know, certainly whenever I finish the interview, I'm always like, damn, why didn't I think of this at the time? But I do my best to remember it because I get these questions all the time. So, and the most important part of my job and what I focus on is our economic activity and trying to help improve and foster that in a state that's not known for being business friendly. You know, we rank at the bottom of most comparisons state to state as far as cost of doing business, and it makes it difficult for us to be competitive in New York, particularly in a district where we're so close to the Pennsylvania border. And now we have a big disparity in minimum wage, Plus there's other lower costs of doing business in Pennsylvania than there is here in New York. But we still have a decent manufacturing base in the southern tier. We've fared better in that area than most areas of New York State. Manufacturing is nowhere near what it used to be, but I believe it still continues to be a strong bedrock of our economy around here, and we need to foster that in every way we can, because if we're not building things in the United States and selling them elsewhere, we're just going to continue to fall behind globally.
You obviously love what you do.
I do.
But what do you do for fun? Is this what you do for fun, or is there a hobby somewhere?
Well, this is fun. I certainly enjoy this. My hobby is fishing, and I was just up at Lake Ontario. My parents grew up in Oswego County. They moved to Horseheads back in the 50s when my father got out of law school, and he spent his career here. But they've had a family cottage up on Lake Ontario for the past, I don't know, 35 plus years now. So that's my hobby, is going up there and salmon fishing, trout fishing out on Lake Ontario.
Wow.
In fact, I was just up there 2 days ago doing that. So this is the peak time of year for salmon fishing on the lake. So I try to get as much time up there, not as much as I would like, obviously, but
do you fly fish too?
I do some fly fishing in the creeks and rivers around, but you know, with fishing on the lake, I enjoy boating, so I get to do both at the same time. But once the salmon season is done on the lake in the fall, which is only in a couple more weeks from now, yeah, then the fish will be running up particularly the Salmon River, which is near where our family's place is up there. So I do a little fishing on that river, but I also hit Catherine Creek and some of the creeks around here as well.
I'll tell you a funny story on fly fishing, and this is something that a politician could appreciate because it was done years ago. Charles Ritz was the chairman of the Ritz Hotel in Paris and the son of the famous Cesar Ritz. Escoffier was the chef, and Ritz was a great fly fisherman and wrote books on it. And he would arrange once a year to go fly fishing. They rented a river someplace in Scotland. And what happened was they had a friend, Ernest Hemingway. So Ritz came as the host. He brought Escoffier as the chef. Hemingway would entertain him with his stories. But the key guy for the fourth one was the Chief of Staff of the Air Force of the United States, who loaned his plane to fly them all over to Scotland. You could do that in those days.
Those days,
yeah.
Not today.
No.
Not today. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And certainly Ernest Hemingway is one of my favorite authors of all time. I love reading his stuff, and as I understand from reading about him, was quite the character.
Quite the character. Charlie Ritz was one of his best friends, and he gave me a watch that belonged to Hemingway.
Really?
And Hemingway loved the races, so he had put in with a nail on the back of it the name of the horse and the date. So it's a great souvenir. It's appreciating in price.
Yeah. Well, I think because my love of fishing and his love of fishing, and certainly Old Man of the Sea was one of my favorite novels that I've read over the years. But
tell me, is there any question that I should ask you that you would want to answer?
That I would want to answer?
Yeah.
I want to answer every question you have, Henry.
Is he good? Any question I should ask that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, you know, I think a couple things that I've been working on, certainly in my role as chairman of the Environmental Conservation Committee in the Senate. We've been very aggressive in recent years with helping assist with our municipalities' failing infrastructure in regards to environmental conservation, particularly water and sewer projects. And we were able to pass in this year's budget a $2.6 billion initiative to go out and help municipalities get their systems back up to snuff, so to speak, because there's been a lot of disrepair and deferred maintenance on these things. They're
signaling me that we have to end the interview because we're out of time.
Really?
And you have talked so well that I didn't have a chance to say much of anything.
Well, I'm sorry I kept you waiting.
No, you're a pleasure to wait for.
And it's always a pleasure to be with you.
And I don't want anything. I don't want any of the things that you have to do for constituents because you've been kind enough already.
Well, you've got a great library down the road. So last year I was the Library Association's Library Advocate of the Year for 2016. So I've been very helpful to libraries, the one with your name on it included. So you keep up the good work that you do.
You know why I like him so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. See you soon.
Around Town with Henry Dormann will return in a moment.
Life, it never stops moving. Getting from here to there. Managing long hours at work. Juggling a busy home. You need a bank that keeps up. That's Chemung Canal Trust Company. Bank online. Bank with our mobile app. Deposit a check with your smartphone. Open an account at Chemung Canal and bank with us anywhere, anytime. Chemung Canal Trust Company. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Breaking news, weather alerts, and more on the WENY live stream. Visit WENY.com/live or download our app today.
We now return to Around Town with Henry Dormann.
This is Mike Binkowski, a name you don't forget, and he has stretch limousines which you need for your date, for the prom, for the wedding, and he takes personal care of all of this, and he has 3 of them, stretch Lincolns, beautiful cars. I have all kinds of questions to ask him, like, you're driving and you've got other drivers. I'm always curious when you're driving along, what are they doing in the back seat?
A lot of times people are playing the music. So nowadays we have Bluetooth. So on the phones, they play their music from the phone to the stereo. So a lot of times it's really music. Some people are enjoying their wine because you can drink wine and champagne in the back of the limo.
Really?
It's legal. We do have a partition that goes up and down. So a lot of times they might put that up halfway. But a lot of times they're sipping and drinking wine, enjoying wine and champagne, and they're playing music.
Isn't that a nice answer? Are you expensive?
No, not necessarily, no.
You work out of where? Hammondsport, Bath?
We work out of the Bath, Hammondsport area, Pleasant Valley. And we do a lot of wine tours and now brew tours, as you know. There's a lot of craft breweries in the area. But we do other special occasions such as birthdays and retirements. And sometimes people have family from out of town, so they want to celebrate like a small reunion. So we'll have small families, they have get-togethers, and they go out to dinner. And believe it or not, they might even go, let's say, to the Curtis Museum and local attractions.
Sure, and you know all the best restaurants to go to.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Hammondsport, of course, you know, is wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful to eat in Hammondsport, and even up on the hill at other places. We take a lot of people, and we pick up a lot of people in Penn Yan.
So you're the car I see up at Bully Hill.
A lot of times, yes. People really do like it there for lunch.
I have to ask you a question. Now, Binkowski is not a name that's not well known. I mean, there was a movie with John Goodman, I think, played, the name was Binkowski, right?
I'm not sure, possibly.
You ought to know, you're going to be...
I know, I know John Goodman, I like John Goodman.
Yeah. Well,
I do like him.
Was it John Goodman who was, yeah, they're saying yes. What is...
Oh, it was close, that was... Monsters Inc. I don't think it was Binkowski, it was very close though, wasn't it?
Wasn't Binkowski. The producer tells me it was Binkowski, and he's never wrong.
It might be, we're not going to argue with the producer.
No.
Never.
No. Tell me about what you do for a hobby. Is this full-time work, or do you have other things that you enjoy doing too?
Well, I have 3 kids, so really my hobby, I enjoy spending time with my family.
And they're going to be drivers?
Well, eventually. My oldest is only 10, so he's got quite a ways to go, of course. But this is a lot of fun. The people that we pick up, our clients, are great people, as you know. We pick up a lot of times on the lake, and as I said, in Penn Yan and Bath, and even as far as Naples and Watkins and Geneva. So the people are what makes it really special. They're great people. Our guests are wonderful people.
You know, just to talk about interesting business things, I did an interview with a lady who runs a water taxi.
Oh, okay,
on
nice.
Lake Keuka.
Very nice.
And I'll bet if you two got together, these people have to get to the water, and they don't want to drive their cars because they're going to be out on the water having lunch or drinking and having a nice time as they would in the limo. You could make a deal with her to take the people back and forth, and she'd take them on the water, you'd take them on the land.
That's an excellent
idea. And you'd give each other all of your clients together.
Right. Maybe, like, say, land-based transportation with the limo, and then, of course, you want to go on the water with a nice cruise. Yeah, it's excellent.
And what's my percentage?
What would you think, 10, 20?
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll talk. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, why not? I thought, isn't this wonderful?
No, with weather like this, though, you really can't beat a nice wine tour. It is beautiful.
Where do you go most of the time?
Well, a lot of time we do go to Keuka Lake, but as I said, we do a lot of work over in Seneca Lake as well. There's so many wineries on Seneca Lake, but we have a lot of people, especially with the Keuka Lake Wine Trail. They have various special events. So with those special events, A lot of people give us a phone call.
You don't really have much competition.
Oh, not too much. There's some other companies that in Rochester, so forth.
That's pretty far away.
It is pretty far away.
Hey,
We like to think that we specialize in. I've been in this area for 40 plus years. So
you're over 40?
Yes, unfortunately, yes, much over. So, anyways, so
I see a beautiful lady. There's
a beautiful wife, Laura.
There's a beautiful lady watching us. Her name is Lori, and it's his wife, and she smiles and laughs at everything I say. Wonderful audience.
You know, thank you. She
Go
is
ahead,
wonderful.
I'm sorry.
She is wonderful. So it is a lot of fun. Wine tours are a lot of fun. The beer tours are really picking up now. A lot of people like the microbrews. As you know, in the Hammondsport area alone, where we are right now, there's 2 or 3 breweries alone right here. So it's a lot of fun.
I was curious if you're going on a beer tour or a wine tour. I've never been on one. I've been to the wineries, but I've never been on a tour to go around. And I know people like to go from one place to another, and they have samples in each place.
Yes.
Including beer.
Yes.
This must be one ending of a day for you to experience all this as they get more and more soused.
Well, you know what? It's not too bad. Believe it or not, it's not too bad. They're smaller samples.
You're in control.
Well, we all work together, but it's not too bad.
A diplomat.
Oh, thank you, thank you. But it is a lot of fun, and it's not too bad. People are under control. They're getting small samples at each place, and now we even have distilleries. So there's a lot of distillers now, one on the east side, one on the west side, which people love to experience. And they even have cocktails there. So people can have a winery, a brewery, or even a distillery tour they can visit. So it's really a lot of fun.
It's dangerous to drive your own car. Go with him.
Thank you. We appreciate that. It is. You do have to be careful nowadays.
I remember the days when limousines were made as stock cars for companies. Cadillac had a limousine. Lincoln had a limousine. Buick even had a limousine.
Oh, wow.
Nobody remembers Buick anymore. But there were cars that were built right in the factories. Now, they don't make them anymore, so you have to send out and have a car cut in half, put together again. Who does this for you?
Well, no, they don't do it for us. We've got to buy it made that way. But for example, the car behind us, we purchased that down in Southern Virginia, Richmond. But we like to get the cars down south, of course, and there are more, limos up here down in the larger cities in the south, and they do that, of course. They make those for you.
So you deal with someone in that state or that city?
Yeah, in Richmond, down in Virginia.
And they build it. They build it.
Yeah, there's coach builders, I guess you call them, coach
Really?
builders,
Uh-huh.
which is nice. That's what they specialize in.
Mhm.
But nowadays, the limos, they have, of course, CD and DVD. So they all of our limos have a DVD player.
You can watch a
They
movie.
they watch, like the kids like to watch that for
Sure.
birthday parties.
Yeah.
And they have, of course, Bluetooth, so that everyone does their wireless music, Bluetooth.
And they can dance in the back.
Oh, yeah. It's just a great time. It's always a celebration.
You have a good
Special
time.
event. I do have a great time, like I said, because for the majority of the time, the people are wonderful people. They really are. Really, 99% of the time, the people are wonderful people. I meet a lot of nice people, a lot of friends, so it's a lot of fun.
Do you wear glasses because you're a movie star?
No, because it's so bright today, as you can tell.
Your wife thinks you are.
Well, I think she has glasses on as well. It is pretty bright out here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's a joy to have you.
It's been a pleasure.
Phone number, what are the, in case they want to reach
So
you?
Keuka Lake Limo, www.keukalakelimo.com. We're also on Facebook, Keuka Lake Limo. Our phone number is 607-725-0616.
And please keep track of this because I gave them an idea to tie up with Water Taxi.
I like that, thank you.
And them, and I want a percentage of this, and you need to be my witness. So keep all this information intact. Otherwise, we'll see you soon again.
Around Town with Henry Dormann will return in a moment.
News happens every minute of the day. When you see news happening in your area, call the WENY tip line or email the newsroom directly at news36@weny.com.
Life, it never stops moving. Getting from here to there. Managing long hours at work. Juggling a busy home. You need a bank that keeps up. That's Chemung Canal Trust Company. Bank online. Bank with our mobile app. Deposit a check with your smartphone. Open an account at Chemung Canal and bank with us anywhere, anytime. Chemung Canal Trust Company. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We now return to Around Town with Henry Dormann.
If you want to invest, I've got the person for you. We are in Ithaca, and this is Philly, my newfound friend Philly, who is going to introduce herself and her title. But this is the important part. She is retiring as head of the person that helps you get business development here. And she's a genius, but she's leaving and retiring. She needs a replacement, so here's your chance. Right? So introduce yourself and tell us one big, easy question. How can you make money by investing in Ithaca?
Oh, beautiful. Love that question. I'm Phyllisa DeSarno, and I am Director of Economic Development for the City of Ithaca. I've been here about 12 years. And why and how Ithaca is, it's easy. There are so many great things about Ithaca. We have a beautiful landscape, of course. We have wonderful institutions, Cornell, Ithaca College, Tompkins County Community College. We have a vibrant downtown. We just put almost, well, over $15 million into our commons. Mm-hmm. So we've renewed that beautiful central part of our city.
You're pretty vibrant yourself.
Well, people tell me that, but I feel it's time, and so in a few weeks I'll be retiring, and they'll be looking for my replacement. As far as I know, the applications are in, and the interview should start very soon. And I was just asked the other day in an interview now, there's so much going on in Ithaca. There's so many projects. Why would you leave now? And my answer was this, why stay when things are good and going the way you want them to go, and let someone come in when it's good, when it's an attractive job, when there's lots going on. I mean, would you prefer that I leave when the stores are empty and people are complaining about Ithaca and things are bad? No one would want to apply. It would be a terrible job.
Are there particular areas that you're looking for people to invest in or companies to invest in, some more than others?
Well, the whole city is our domain, of course, as far as economic development. So right now, the new frontier, and not so new really, is College Town. College Town is really going through a growth burst and some very good investment going there.
What is College Town?
College Town is on the hill near Cornell, and it's a small section of the city that's very, very connected to the university and students. Most of the residents and the businesses are associated with the university and students. But that doesn't mean that anyone could go up there and get involved. It's just that that's kind of the focal point there. Is the
mostly a real estate development?
Oh yes, real estate development. Housing, mixed use, small businesses. The Johnson School has just built a wonderful building, or will be in a building that just got built there with a developer, a local developer, John Novar. It's really getting a lot of attention right now, lots of interest in College Town.
What's coming up?
There are several.
You must have dozens of projects going.
We do. We've got hotel projects. We've got housing projects. You know,
you're very smart, and I think people are going to miss you here.
Well, they say they will. Well, let's see. I'm sure there's some very, very good people that will take over. It's a wonderful job. It's a great job. I was asked the other day, how would I describe my job? And I said, easy. Mm-hmm. Easy. I've got a great product. I mean, no matter what people ask me about this segment, that segment, we have so much to be thankful for here. And I know much of upstate New York has suffered, and luckily we have been able to get through some bad times. I do believe that our focal point of education has helped. But as I mentioned, we've got this surrounding area. The whole region is so beautiful. We've got the wineries now. Agriculture is thriving here. Tourism is thriving. Our educational institutions are thriving.
What are some of the other things to invest in?
Well, small business is always a good investment in Ithaca. I mean, we have a really good, steady population here. We have students here 10 months a year, and more in the summer. We have tourism.
And you have all kinds of restaurants and food shops coming out of your ears. You've even got a place that makes waffles, only waffles.
Right. Yes, that's true.
And the best one, I went there and tasted some.
Oh, good.
And the mayor goes there often.
The mayor goes there. It's one of the best places for morning breakfast. Well, we do have a lot of foods and a lot of restaurants and a lot of different options, ethnic foods. And many people in the region say, when I want to go out for a good meal and ethnic food, I come to Ithaca. And that just seems to be growing more and more. Mm-hmm. We think that that's a very good segment of this city.
You have something nice to say about everything.
Yes, I do. I'm a very positive person, because what is the benefit of the alternative to be negative? I mean, it's just, it doesn't get you anywhere.
It seems to me kind of a shame that when you retire, what are you going to do?
Oh, I've got plenty I'm going to do. I've had some
offers. You look so young. You haven't even got a wrinkle.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to be 66 in
really?
September, yes.
Wow.
I feel it's time. I feel like there's some very good young people and internal candidates, external candidates who are interested in this job, and it's time to let them have this opportunity. I have other things I want to do.
Like what?
Well, I want to kayak.
Do you really?
On all the Finger Lakes. And
really?
I want to get involved with planting trees all over the region and you know, and some environmental issues that I've been very interested in.
You really got it all planned.
I do. I mean, we'll
kayaking.
See what, yes.
You must be in good shape.
Well, I'm going to try to get in better shape, Mr. Dormann. I'm going to try to get in much better shape. And but yeah, we have such beautiful places. I want to get out and see them all.
I know this is a bad question, because it's hard for someone like you to say something specific about one thing. But is there one investment that you look upon as joyous and your favorite?
Oh, wow, that's hard, because there's been so many good things. But one I worked really hard on was getting the massage school, the Finger Lakes School of Massage, off the hill, going outside of Ithaca, to come into the city. I thought it would be better for the facility to be in the city, because students come from all over the country to go to this massage school, and the students had to live outside of town. There wasn't any place for them to get lunch, you know. I said, why don't you come down the hill and find a space here? So I probably worked with them somewhere between 5 and 7 years. And 2 years ago, we got them to move downtown. They're in a beautiful facility right on the Commons. The students...
Well, this is one of the things that people say about you, that you are great at cutting red tape and getting things done.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know how much red tape I cut, except opening businesses. We do ribbon cuttings with the DIA. But anyway, that was one of my favorites, because I worked on it for a long time, and the landlord was very, very pleased. The school was pleased. The director of the school has become kind of a friend of mine, and the students are thrilled to be downtown, because they can get an apartment. Their life is, you know, walkable, and they can walk to school, walk to restaurants, walk home to their apartments. It has really worked well.
I think that you're going to be missed in Ithaca, because you're kind of a human dynamo.
Oh, well, thank you,
and
Mr. Dormann.
And you're a joy to interview.
Well, thank you.
And you've done so much for Ithaca that you ought to have a medal.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll tell the mayor that.
I'll tell him. I'm going to see him later.
Okay.
Tell me something else. If people want to get information, where should they call? Is there a website?
We have a city website, which is quite well organized. They can go to economic development if they want to get involved with a business here. They can call my number. I'll be here for a while longer. It's 607-274-6554. They can also reach me by DeSarno at cityofithaca.org. But also they can just call City Hall and say what they're interested in, and they'll be directed here. But the website is excellent if they want to reach us.
And what's nice about City Hall in Ithaca, you can get things done by calling. Give her a ring while she's here. I'm going to be sitting with her for a while. See you soon.
You're watching WENY.